Think for a bit. Imagine going through your day. Notice how many times talking to people feels harder than it used to. Conversations become angry for no reason. Small disagreements turn into personal attacks. Judging feels worse, kindness feels rare, and patience seems almost gone. Now ask yourself this scary question. Are people really becoming more mean? Or are we finally seeing something that was always there, now showing up because of the stress of today's life? In this video, we will show something that most people feel but cannot fully explain. We will look at why the world seems to be making more bad habits, more sudden anger, and more mental weakness than ever before. And I promise you this, the last secret will be the most vital and strong of all, because it shows not just what is happening to others, but what is going on inside of you. If you stay until the finish, your view of how people act, your friendships, and even your own choices may change forever. This channel is for those who want to ask big questions about why we are the way we are. It is for those who like the ideas of great experts and thinkers who look deep into how we live. What you will hear now is not meant to blame or be mean, but to show the truth. Because knowing the truth is the first step toward change. Before we move on, take a second to join the channel. Like the video and share it with someone who has felt stressed by the mood of the world right now. Write your thoughts as we go, because your ideas are part of this group study. What we find here might change how you see people, fights, and yourself. Now, let us start with the basic things, where most stories stop. People often call mean people bad, greedy, heartless, or cruel. But this is a simple answer, and simple answers cause more mess, not clear truth. The expert, Carl Rogers, said that when people are not liked for who they truly are, they start acting in ways to protect themselves that ruin their friendships. Being mean, in many cases, is not about being evil, but about not feeling safe in your mind. Look at the world today. People are always being graded, compared, shown, and judged. Online apps give prizes for being angry, shaming others, and acting like you are better. The thinker Friedrich Nietzsche said that worlds that stop people from saying how they truly feel will make them bitter. That bitterness does not go away. It changes. It comes out as quiet anger, meanness, and the need to control others. Ask yourself truly, how many people do you know who feel really seen, heard, and cared for? When those basic mental needs are missing, people start to defend themselves. They become tough and mean. They attack before they get hurt. They trick others because they feel they have no power. Bad behavior often starts as a way to survive. Sigmund Freud thought that when inner pain is hidden, it comes back in weird ways. A person who feels small may try to control things. Someone who feels left alone may become angry very fast. Someone who feels ignored all the time may start to hate other people. Being mean is often the outside sign of a fight going on inside, and this is where things get hard to hear. The world does not just make mean people, it rewards them. Being bossy without kindness is called strength. Not caring about feelings is called being smart. Being cruel is called having a big goal. Over time, these ideas change how we act, especially for those who are already hurting. Let me ask you something big. Have you seen that the meanest people often think they are right? That they see themselves as victims, heroes, or the only ones telling the truth? The expert, Viktor Frankl, said that humans can handle almost anything if they have a reason for their pain. But when pain is mixed with thinking you are better than others, it gets scary. It makes pain feel like a free pass. Right now, you might be wondering if being mean is just something outside, something that other people do. But wait a second, because the next part of this talk will test a much scarier idea, one that experts have warned us about for hundreds of years, yet most people are too scared to face. Before we go there, think about this question and share your ideas in the comments. Do you think the world makes mean people, or does it just show what was already there under the surface? Now, let us look deeper, into a place most people try to avoid. Because to truly know why the world has more and more mean people, we must face a truth that is much worse than blaming the internet, politics, or how life is changing. The truth is this: meanness grows when people lose touch with their true selves. Carl Jung warned that when people refuse to face their own dark side, the hidden parts of their minds, they see that darkness in everyone else. Instead of seeing their own fear, jealousy, anger, or worry, they see it everywhere. The person at work becomes the enemy. The stranger seems like a threat. A different idea feels like an attack. The world today doesn't just let this happen, it makes it bigger. Think about how often anger is encouraged, how fast people are told to pick sides, to label others, and to judge. This constant state of mental stress does something quiet but strong. It keeps people in survival mode, and a body that is stuck in survival cannot be kind, patient, or fair. Scientists have shown that when the body feels scared, even if it's just in the mind, the brain cares more about fighting than being friends. Bad behavior happens without thinking. Now think about how little room modern life leaves for dealing with feelings. People are busy, overexcited, tired, and always looking at other things. Pain is hidden, not fixed. Quiet is avoided, thinking is rare. But hidden feelings do not go away. They build up, they get hard.
In the end, they want to come out, often by being grumpy, mean jokes, cruelty, or just not caring. The thinker Hannah Arendt said that evil is often boring. It's not always a monster, but just not thinking. Being mean often comes not from being evil, but from being numb. When people lose their inner selves, they stop seeing the human side of others. Kindness needs you to be present, and being present is something the world is taking away from us bit by bit. Ask yourself this: how many people were ever taught how to know their feelings, control their reactions, or say what they need without being mean? Very few. Instead, many are told to hide their soft side, to act tough, and to fight to be liked. The expert Alice Miller said that worlds that shame feelings raise adults who then do the same bad things to others. What they once felt is now what they give. There is also a fake idea that must be broken. Many think mean people are sure and strong. In real life, most bad behavior comes from feeling very unsafe. Power that needs to boss others is not real power. It is just covering a hole. Being sure while being mean is not bravery.
It is just fear wearing a mask. Here is another hard question. Why does bad behavior feel like it spreads? Why does being around mean people slowly change your own mood, your calm, and your voice? Because humans catch feelings. We soak up the moods around us. The expert Emil Durkheim warned that the mood of the group changes how a person acts more than their own ideas do. When being mean becomes normal, staying nice takes real work. At this stage, something very important starts to show. If the world is getting meaner, it's not because people are born bad, but because fewer people are taught how to look at their own hearts. And when the heart is ignored, the outside world becomes a place for war. But this is still not the deepest part. There is one last part to this problem that shows why being mean feels not just common, but like it won't stop. It shows why even good people feel themselves getting tougher, colder, and angrier as time goes on. Before we show that, stop for a second. Think truly. In what times do you see your own dark side coming out? When do you feel like you have to defend yourself, shut down, or close off? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, because being honest is how we start to learn. Let us now go even deeper, into a part that most talks about being mean try to avoid, because it makes us look at how our whole world is built. If the earlier parts showed how losing touch with ourselves makes us mean, this part shows why that loss is no longer an accident, but part of the system. Today's world is built on always being busy and always comparing. From the second people wake up, they see perfect pictures of success, joy, beauty, smartness, and being better than others. The expert Leon Festinger showed long ago that humans judge themselves by looking at everyone else. When we compare ourselves all the time, we feel like we are always on trial. Over time, this makes us feel like we are never good enough. And feeling not good enough is where meanness grows. When people feel small, they look for ways to feel big again. This comes out as being mean, rude jokes, hating others, or judging. By putting others down, a hurting person feels better for a short time. The thinker Arthur Schopenhauer saw that people often feel happy not when they win, but when they see others lose. In a world where we feel there isn't enough to go around, including love and respect, this bad habit gets even stronger. Ask yourself this: how often do public talks feel less like learning and more like a fight to be the boss? Ideas are no longer shared, they are used like weapons. Thinking differently is seen as a personal insult. The goal is no longer the truth, but just to win. This change did not happen by chance. It happened in a world where attention is money and being angry makes a profit. Being around fights all the time changes how we see. Studies show that when people see lots of us versus them stories, they start to think everyone is out to get them. This means they see normal acts as mean, unclear words as insults, and differences as dangers. Being mean then becomes the glass through which we see. But there is another force, one that is quiet and very bad: the loss of meaning. Viktor Frankl warned that when people don't have a goal in life, they feel a big, empty hole inside. This empty hole does not stay empty. It fills up with other things: power, control, wanting to be liked, and thinking you are always right. Many mean acts are just ways to run away from the pain of life having no point. When life feels empty, a fight makes it exciting. When a person feels weak, being mean makes them feel strong. Think about how many people define themselves mostly by what they hate. Whole lives are built around enemies, being mad, and fighting for their side. While this might feel exciting, it hurts the mind. A brain that is always looking for a fight cannot be at peace. And a world full of confused people becomes a place that explodes with anger. There is also the problem of not knowing about feelings. Most people are never taught how to sit with pain,
not knowing what to do, or being upset. Instead, they are taught to blame others. The expert Wilfred Bion said it is vital to have containment, the skill to hold hard feelings without acting them out. Without this skill, feelings leak out and break things. Now think about this. How often have you seen people react way too much to small problems, screaming over a tiny issue or being cruel over a little mistake? These outbursts are not about right now. They are years of hidden stress, sadness, and fear looking for a way out. Now, we see something very important. Being mean is not just about one toxic person. It is about a whole group of people having too much to handle. When everyone is pushed past their mental limit, acting crazy becomes normal. Things that we used to call unhealthy are now called being honest, real, or strong. And here's where it gets personal. No one is safe. Even those who try to be good can slowly become cold under constant pressure. Kindness takes energy. Patience takes control. Caring takes a feeling of safety. When these things are gone, even good intentions fade. This brings us to a question that we must ask. If being mean is growing not because people are bad, but because they are tired, lonely, and lost, then what is the job of just one person? Is just knowing enough, or is something more needed? Before we move to the last and most important part, stop for a second. How has today's life changed how you act, your patience, and how you treat others? When do you notice your own tiredness turning into anger or shutting down? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Your story may help someone else feel less alone in this. Now we reach the final and most powerful truth, the one that brings everything together and shows why knowing this can change the way you live, act, and talk to the world. The biggest reason the world looks mean is not just stress, comparison, pain, or being lonely. It is the common refusal to own your inner life. Not owning it to blame yourself, but owning it like you are the boss of it. Most people have been taught that their feelings are just things others do to them, that being mad is okay because someone else started it, that being bitter is fine because life was unfair, that being mean is excusable because the world was mean first. But this idea slowly kills your freedom. The thinker Jean-Paul Sartre said that the second we say we aren't in charge of how we feel, we give up our power. When people think their mood is controlled by things outside of them, they just react. And reacting without thinking is the heart of being mean. A person who just reacts does not choose what they do. They just dump how they feel on others. This is why mean acts feel sudden, way too big, and unfair. It is not based on thinking, but on hidden feelings. And when millions of people live this way,
Being mean becomes the mood of the world, rather than just a one-time thing. Carl Jung warned that what we do not look at will control our lives like fate. This one sentence explains more about our world than anything else. When people don't look at themselves, their hidden fear turns into fighting. Their hidden sadness turns into not caring. Their hidden shame turns into hating others. The last and hardest truth is this: the world is not getting mean because of them. It is getting mean because of us. Because every time we act without thinking, it makes the world's mood worse. Every mean act makes it normal. Every time we don't stop to think, we pass our pain to someone else. But here is the good news. If bad behavior spreads when we aren't thinking, then thinking is the cure. You do not fix the world by fighting mean people. You fix the world by refusing to be one, by slowing down your reactions, by questioning your own ideas, by asking yourself, why do I feel scared right now? What feeling am I running from? What story am I telling myself to act this way? The expert Viktor Frankl said that between what happens to us and how we act, there is a gap. In that gap, we have the power to choose. Being mean wins when that gap disappears. Getting better starts when we bring it back. Imagine what would change if more people learned to just feel their pain instead of giving it to others, to feel mad without using it like a weapon, to feel unsafe without blaming others, to disagree without being mean. This is not weak. It is real mental strength. The biggest lie the world tells is that controlling yourself is bad. Truly, being the boss of yourself is freedom. The skill to have a feeling without it owning you is what makes a person wise instead of a mess. So the final message is full of hope. The rise of being mean is not a sign that we are doomed. It is a signal that we are all being forced to look at our inner world whether we want to or not. And you are not powerless in this. Every time you stop and think, you break the cycle. Every conscious choice stops the pattern. Every time you choose to be kind instead of just reacting, you change the mood of the world, even if no one sees it. Let me leave you with this last question, one to keep with you after this video. If the world is made by the moods people bring into it, what kind of world are you making every time you act and react? If this helped you, tell us what you think in the comments. Join us to keep learning about the mind.
wise ideas, and why we act the way we do. And remember, the biggest change does not start with changing others, but with knowing yourself. Because when you change the way you look at the world you see starts to change too. Before we truly finish, there is one more thing that you should know, because without it, the story isn't finished. A quiet reason why mean behavior keeps growing is that the world thinks venting is the same as healing. People are told to scream, blame, and dump their feelings in public, thinking this alone makes them feel better. But experts have long warned that just letting it out without thinking does not fix the pain, it just repeats it over and over. Being mad without thinking makes your brain better at being mad. Over time, you become your feelings rather than your wisdom. Real healing needs you to understand your feelings, not just dump them. This is why some people always seem mad, always hurt, and always defensive. Their feelings have become a loop. Without looking inside, feelings just become bad habits, and habits make you who you are. Another thing we forget is the loss of silence. Silence is where we learn about ourselves. But today, silence feels weird, even scary. In the quiet, hidden thoughts come up, feelings speak, and questions start. To avoid this, people stay busy, look at phones, and stay focused on the outside. Being mean then becomes a noise, a way to hide from inner pain. But silence is not empty, it is where the truth is waiting. When people learn to be quiet, they see why they act the way they do. When they see that, they get their choice back, and when choice returns, being mean loses its power. This last idea finishes the journey. You don't beat mean behavior by acting better, fighting, or running away. It is changed through knowing yourself, owning your life, and being brave. The bravery to look inside, the bravery to stop, the bravery to choose a better way. And maybe this is the quiet chance hidden in these wild times. A chance to grow, not just with technology, but in our minds. To be people who no longer give their pain to others, but understand it. Who no longer react without thinking, but act with care. Because the future of the world is not decided only by big rules and systems. It is decided every second inside the hearts and minds of people, willing to wake up. And that job, whether we want it or not, belongs to all of us. Thanks for watching.